Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Another group of hotel workers on strike. School day cut short after bus driver shot and killed on a school compound in Manchester. And later in sports, Reggae Boys loses to USA in CONCACAF Nations League. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carrie Simpson. Here are the details. Yet another group of hotel workers are on strike. Staff employed to the Iberia Star Hotel took to the streets this morning complaining about low wages and poor working conditions. It comes just days after the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions called for the establishment of a joint council for tourism workers, which will look at the treatment of workers in the sector and other pertinent matters relating to tourism. One of the protesters who spoke with our news team say workers feel sidelined by the management.
Most Spanish they come to the work here. Every day a Spanish come and they get more money than us. Right? They get more money than us every year. We have to send our kids to school. We have to send our kids to school. Some people can't afford it. If you don't have a next job, outside, you can't make no money.
In the meantime, shadow spokesperson on tourism, Senator Janice Allen, says the government must shoulder the responsibility of the current state of the industry. In a statement, she suggested that the sector would not have been in what she describes as turmoil if Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett had been more attentive to the needs of both workers and investors and acted swiftly to mitigate these issues. She's calling for a calm and constructive dialogue among stakeholders, that's all stakeholders, urging the government to engage with the opposition in crafting effective long-term solutions. The school day was cut short at Homewood Technical High in Manchester this morning after a fatal shooting on the compound. It's reported that about 9 a.m., a lone gunman walked onto the premises and shot the driver of a coaster bus who was waiting to take footballers to their matches. Coach Errol Newman spoke with our news team.
We have a U14 or a U16 match. It was scheduled to play last week Saturday, but it was rained out. So it's a rescheduled game for today at 10 and 12. So we're getting ready to go to that game over by Knox.
The matches have again been postponed as the students were visibly shaken. Meanwhile, community members say they are shocked that something like this could have happened to such a well-loved man. The driver has been identified as Rowan Gentles, better known as Scrooge.
So we come out here, come look, and when we come here, see a bus driver dead. I'm really sorry to hear that.
He was a jovial person. He's like a father to the youth them. They rap, they talk, they joke. He was a good person. I don't have any problem with him. And all the kids and him have a good rapport.
This is the latest in a string of violent incidents on or near school compounds in Christiana in recent times, which has prompted increased security measures like curfews. Residents and other stakeholders have urged the security forces to find other ways to curb rising crime in Manchester. The St. Catherine North Police say it's awaiting the post-mortem report as well as DNA evidence from a missing farmer that has been found dead. The deceased has been identified as 32-year-old Jason Mason. According to his family, he has been missing for over a week. The body was found on Thursday in a sand heap in Hartland, St. Catherine. TVJ News understands that a resident stumbled on the decomposing corpse just as he was about to shovel sand for construction purposes. The missing farmer works on a fish farm in the Bushy Park area. 9 spent shells were found on the scene.
I went to the police station yesterday go and report it. Them never come because they never take a full statement from me. Them said the boss come and give a statement, he never give a full statement neither. So I called the boss. The girlfriend sent the boss number, come give me, and I call him and say, what happened to Jason? He said, no. So I turn to him and say, it's my child, and my child missing. You don't inform me that my child is missing. Him say, mother, me don't know, XYZ. So I said to him, say, no police come and search. He said to me, say, I'm not in high society to police come and search. So I said to him, so you have to wait till him dead, then you tell me, say, my condolence to your son. He said, mother, sorry about that. Take it. I tell him, say, I'm a sick person, and Jason, every day Jason call me and bother me. He said, take your medication and take a pin and eat some food, and that's it.
A police officer and a civilian had to seek medical attention at a hospital following an altercation in Maypen, Clarendon this week. According to reports, the civilian attempted to prevent the policeman from prosecuting a motorist for a traffic violation. It's alleged that during the confrontation, the civilian hit the policeman in his right eye and broke the strap off the lawman's M16 rifle. The policeman, who also was armed with a Glock pistol, shot and injured the man. His injuries are not considered life-threatening. The two were taken to hospital for treatment. The police have arrested and charged 2 men for the October 17 murder of 62-year-old Agri Atkinson in Magotty, Manchester. 35-year-old Sean Reed and 30-year-old Ramono Smile, both of Knockpatrick, Manchester, were charged yesterday. They were caught with 2 illegal firearms and several rounds of ammunition at a bar in Gutters, St. Elizabeth, earlier this month. Head of the St. Elizabeth Police Superintendent Coleridge Mento says the men are facing additional charges.
Both of them were charged this morning with the offenses of murder, conspiracy, robbery with aggravation, using a firearm to commit a felony, possession of prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition.
Superintendent Minto says there are 2 additional persons of interest being pursued in relation to the investigation. To a TVJ News follow-up now. The St. James Fire Brigade has made several recommendations to prevent future fires at the Old Shoe Market in the parish. This development comes almost 2 months since the last blaze at the facility. Kimberly Petty reports.
Fires at the Old Shoe Market in St. James appears to be a yearly ritual. It is for that reason, fire investigator at the St. James Division of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, District Officer O'Neill Carr, is making fire safety recommendations to the St. James Municipal Corporation to prevent a recurrence. The latest fire, which happened in September, left the vendors counting their losses again. Mr. Carr was speaking at the St. James Municipal Corporation monthly meeting on Thursday.
One of the recommendations is to ensure that the proper regulation and distribution of electricity to shops are enforced. Critical. Second recommendation, see to the implementation and the installation of initiating devices, namely smoke detectors, in the shops. These provide audible alarm when activated by smoke particles in the air.
He says after assessing the 3 fires at the market, investigators concluded that the materials used had no fire rating. He also revealed that the electrical load at the shops was enormous.
We need to design an effective schematic of building to improve the means of egress and ingress. This is critical to our fireground operation, because if the space is so tight, for the ease of traffic and for firefighters to effectively do our jobs, and even for the persons that are commuting that space on a day-to-day basis, we need to look into how we design these public spaces.
Following the last fire in September, the St. James Municipal Corporation also outlined a plan to create a state-of-the-art market at the location. Kimberly Petty for TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More local stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Councillors in Portmore are up in arms over the time it is taking for the National Works Agency to complete well-needed road work in the municipality. Councillor Alric Campbell says while some potholes in the municipality have been fixed by the agency, some critical ones have been left undone. He raised the matter at Thursday's sitting of the Portmore Municipal Corporation.
Very popularly called 85. Right in front of KFC and Burger King. People are dancing up there. Dying out there too. Accidents almost daily. People slowing down, people running in their backs. And so I am calling on the Works Agency once more.
Meanwhile, Councillor Fenley Douglas is criticizing the government over the handling of the Spark program. He notes that parochial roads, which are under the purview of municipal corporations, will be fixed under Spark, which is being spearheaded by the NWA. But he says those funds should have been directed to the municipal corporation.
Doing their own roads, municipal roads. And the same contractors that central government would put their tender out to would be the same contractors or the same process or processes the local authority would be going through. So why is it that you're drawing away, right, the resource from the parish council to do their job? Why is it that you would have an engineering department? Why is it that we would have had the laws to protect us as it relates to procurement? The same guidelines that govern the NWA would be the same guidelines that the parish council would be using. So what is the real modus operandi of central government to do something like this? I am somewhat concerned because we are approaching the political silly season once again.
An urgent search is on for 76-year-old Loxley Davis, who went missing on October 28. The family says he went on his normal morning walk and has not been seen since. They say he is troubled with dementia, and in a bid to assist in locating him, they installed a tracker on his walking shoe. However, it has not worked. Mr. Davis's son spoke on his general route.
The general route that he would walk would be leaving from Patrick City, he would walk to Queen Hill, sometime come down with Hill, sometime if he feel like it, walk all the way up to Meadowbrook to go through Transfer Hall and come back down. And this morning the tracker showed us that he went by 6 mile, went into Industrial Muse, I think it is, where you have this industrial estate. And the tracker picked him up going up Tom Crindle and then on to Elmwood Crescent.
Meantime, this appeal from his wife, Beverly Davis.
Asking you, please, should you see him, please contact the Duhaney Park Police or any police station. Loxley suffers from dementia. He is not violent. He refers to gentlemen as parties and ladies or my ladies or madame.
Mr. Davis was last seen wearing an orange polo shirt, navy blue pants, and a pair of black sneakers. It's now time for the Business Minute.
138 Student Living recorded group revenue for the quarter ended September of $372 million. This is an increase of 8% when compared to the $342 million recorded in the corresponding period last year. The improvement in revenue was due to rate increases across all halls and other income. Meanwhile, other income contributed $44.7 million compared to $28.4 million for the corresponding period last year. This 138 Student Living says was primarily driven by better utilization of laundry operations and a one-off sale of surplus equipment during the current quarter. Now, despite the improvements in revenue, the group recorded a 13% decrease in operating profit of $136 million compared to $155.5 million in the corresponding prior period. The results were impacted by increases in administrative expenses for general insurance, salaries, and internet services. Further afield, more interest rate cuts are likely. That's according to U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Now, Mr. Powell suggested the cuts might not be that much lower over the next few months. He said more rate cuts are likely on the way because the economy's current trends and dynamics are expected to remain in place, at least in the short run. That includes a slowing job market and cooling inflation, facilitated by rates that are still at restrictively high levels. For the Business Minute, I'm Shane Masters.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
The World Bank says it has expanded its lifeline to the Caribbean and other small countries struggling to rebuild from disasters. The World Bank says this will allow them to postpone loan and interest repayments after a catastrophic event so governments can focus on recovery rather than paying off debt. The Washington-based financial institution said its climate resilient debt clause now covers all natural disasters, including droughts, floods, and health emergencies like pandemics. On the international scene, at least 10 people have been killed and several others injured after a fire broke out at a care home in northeastern Spain. 82 people lived at the facility. The center was opened 16 years ago as a retirement home, but has since specialized in care for residents with dementia and mental health problems. Emergency services were alerted about 5 a.m. and firefighters were able to put out the fire. Human rights groups are accusing the Azerbaijani government of using COP29 to crack down on environmental activists and other political opponents. Climate Action Network, a group of nearly 2,000 climate groups, told BBC News that the protection of civil society is crucial if countries want to see progress on climate change. The Azerbaijani government rejects the claims and says the government holds no political prisoners. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Janella Precious.
Thanks, Janella. And we head to another break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.